Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a squat and deadlift day, so let's get right into this. All right, I showed obviously the last warm-up set on everything, which I tend to do. I decided, look, the cambered bar is probably too easy. When I miss squats, really I missed them in the way that the SSB pulls me, like when I've missed them at meets or things. So I feel like at this point I should just do some SSB work. And I'm not even going that heavy. I'm just going to build this up. Instead of trying to get to 500 plus on the cambered bar, I need to get to 500 plus on this safety squat bar. Because that way I'm not as worried with my bar position up top. Essentially, if anything I can squat with the SSB, I can do with any bar setup with a straight bar. Right? So let's just do that. All right, instead of trying to show off and get the biggest lift possible. And I just did a real easy 421. It was really part of my deadlift warm up because that was my deadlift warm up. That squat and that one rep on the deadlift. For the top set, because that's really what I care about right now. Like, let my squat just come along. I'll build the musculature, keep my shoulders healthy, which is working amazing on my bench, hitting bench PRs all the time. I really care about my deadlift. All right, this is probably the strongest work set I may have ever done for a non-single on camera. 565 for 4 reps. It was hard. I don't know that I had a 5th rep, but throw that into any calculator. 640 plus. Now here's the thing. I feel like my posterior chain is so strong that it is not my limiting factor. It's not my limiting factor on deadlift. It feels like my middle back, my grip, things like that. That's what's limiting me. How do we fix that? Rows. Keep building those areas with rows and continue to do the lifts and progress on the stuff that I know will help me. So I'm doing my glute ham raises. Then I'm doing the reverse hyper. I have to watch the glute ham raises. I almost overtrain on them. And I know that because last time I came in, I did my 3 sets. The other day, I cramped up later that day. Hamstrings, both of them. They cramped when I went to lay down in bed. I mean, excruciating. So a lot of times I need to just do 2 real good quality sets. Because think about the deadlift stimulus in the hamstring from those peak sets. Then I do reverse hypers after. As long as I can get some progression on these glute ham raises, doesn't matter. And that's the funny thing. I mean, look at what I deadlift at my age, and I don't have a hamstring weakness. I seem to have a bunch of clowns all the time who are like, "Oh, you don't perform the glute ham raise right," and I'm like, "You can call it whatever you want. Am I putting tension on the hamstring? Yes. Are my hamstrings massive? You guys look from the side. Yes." This exercise, literally the way I perform it, literally, almost any time I do 3 or more sets, makes my hamstrings cramp later that day. And I'm talking both hamstrings, intense cramps that I can't even stand. Debilitating. So by performing it wrong, are you saying I'm not working the hamstrings? We see my deadlift strength. Are we going to argue that my hamstrings have not been properly stimulated? I mean, think of the absurdity of that statement. I want people to think about that, just how absurd that is. They don't like how I perform the glute ham raise, yet when I do it, my hamstrings, if I do more than 2 work sets, sometimes I can get away with 3. If I do anything more than that, it hits my hamstrings so hard that they cramp later in the day, and I literally cannot stand or walk. Literally. I don't mean that any other way. I do mean that when it goes wrong. Look how fast I pull through the point where the hamstrings are used. I mean, think about that for a moment. That's how absurd people are. Clearly it works. It's because you don't like it. I don't care. So let's come over to the rest of the training. Belt squats, I'm trying to take them out real wide. I went up another 10 pounds today. This is the most weight I've ever used. Some of this video, but it's the footing too. I would like to see these a little deeper, but maybe with this stance, it's kind of hard to get any deeper than that. My quads are really getting lit up. I'm feeling a ton of quad on these though. So I need to keep progressing on them. Like I said, I'd like to get them a little deeper, but the only way that's going to happen is with a narrower stance, I feel like, because I'm almost bottoming this out. And as long as I can hit it on a squat, I guess that's what matters. But I'm still getting that lengthened position. But I'm nitpicking. I would like to see them a little deeper. But I also need the benefits of that wide stance right now. You know, choose your battles. There's compromises to be made on these movements. My quads are growing. My quads are getting stronger. I should probably not complain much, but I'm going to nitpick a little bit. I would like to see those deeper, but I also don't want to go into that high bar type position because I'm going to squat wide. You know, so what do? Do the best we can, just progress with what we're doing. Still activating the most muscle possible, but we could make the case. We could make the case if I went narrower and asked to grass. It would probably work my quads better. But I need all that adductor work, right? And I need that hip extension. So, you know, I'll do what I'm doing for now. I could rotate in a phase of the others, though. I like to rotate these things anyways to help with overuse. So it's not really a big deal. I could always do a phase coming up if I really feel like the quads are really a problem. I could just run a phase with a narrower stance and go deep. Problem solved, right? There we go. And then I finished up with my reverse hyperextensions, my normal sets, my 5 sets of 10. These are done with short breaks, 30, 45 seconds, because again, this is a lighter weight for me. It still works. I get the stimulus I want. I feel my glutes, I feel my low back. And again, this is just finishing stuff off because we've done the real work. I mean, the real posterior chain work, that set of deadlifts and then those glute ham raises. I would go off that. This is mostly restorative, keeping my low back strong. Because I don't feel my low back. I definitely can tell that my lats and my grip are my weak link. But we're addressing that on upper body days. But I'm also doing that work beforehand, so I'm also fatigued the next day. Fresh, maybe it wouldn't be an issue. Again, pick your battles. But if I can always come in a little fatigued and do it, then we're in a real good place. We're in a real good place. Keep moving forward, but I'm very, very happy. That set was phenomenal. It was hard. I felt it, but it was good. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.